Welcome to the Sun Parlour Coffee House Sessions. I'm Jan Hall from Folk Roots Radio. Fingerstyle acoustic singer-songwriter Max Marshall is a relative newcomer to the Canadian folk scene. He released his debut album Back Through the Meadows just last year, and he's now working on a new album. And he's our special guest in the studio today, and he's coming up right now. Enjoy.
When I go up to Muskoka, there's a place where I go. In its woods where the trees make steeples, it's where I go to find what I'm looking for. That's where I go to find what I'm looking for. It's where I go to find what I'm looking for. How am I to know? 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 How am I to have known? In its lake, a lake trout awaits, got me baiting my fishing pole. And as you wait for dinner on your plate, lake will become a wishing well. Lake will become wishing well. Oh, the lake becomes a wishing well. Wish me some luck. The may never come my way, but how am I to know? 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 How am I to have known? We take our break on Bear Lake with our friends and family, and when we get together our voices tether, we get cleaned out by the harmonies. It's suddenly clear when you try to sing, you can't hide where your eyes have been. So I'll eat my food and spend my money until I'm hungry, until I'm broke. And although I got nothing to show, I'll build my house out of all 12 notes. I'll raise my family off of all 12 notes. Yes, I'll make my children's clothes out of all 12 notes, 'cause we live in a house built with all 12 notes. We live in a house built with all 12 notes. Yes, I'll make my children's clothes out of all 12 notes. Off my forthcoming album, this is Fugue Generation Blues. 32 years of age, working for that minimum wage, counting those bills, closing the till. You're working for yourself or somebody else. Free to roam, I moved to St. John's, had a little boy so I moved back home. I'm a new dad, working the retail, ain't got nothing to complain about. And all I see is perfect lives online. this age of outrage, but everything is fine. My family wanted me to get the degree. I gave them 2 false starts in the liberal arts. They're teaching us to make this mountain of debt. You gotta keep on serving if you ain't got the job yet. And all I see is perfect lives online, living in this age of outrage, but everything is fine. Underneath the screen, my eyes are burning histamine. Living in this age of outrage, but everything is fine. So I guess started as a retelling of Homer's Odyssey. And I guess it still is, but it kind of means something to me as far as like maybe the theme of a lot of my music is the constant journey, the constant going somewhere. And sometimes you end up finding love, and you end up feeling like you made it somewhere as well in the end, you know. A friend of mine, come play my muse, sing a song and I'll speak through you. Sea salt sprays up on poplar braids, a lover all too willing chaperones their slave, pray they break away. Carousel till the stars wheel down, down we fall when the wine is all gone. In Hades' moldy halls there be a bottle for us all. We squeak, we cluster, rough edge on our tongue. Oh, rod black blood, come and con us on, make us feel young. Oh, how far does it feel from love? Taste salt tears until I quench the sun. In the moon's light, sirens sing their songs through your ears. And out of your mind, it's a trick of touch, a taste just the sight of spoken words placed upon your rotten breath. And now I know the name of home. Heady wine in your honey-toned mouth. We lay together in love. It's been said we'll rely on one another to make honey in our heads, and we'll climb our tree and carve out our bed. From that bed, honeyed heads of our own. And when they've grown, this story will be told. Oh, no, no, like a story should be known. This song's not on any of my albums, and I'm not necessarily known to be an environmentalist, but this was inspired for me to write for some friends living out in Western Canada and Yellowknife. So this is for them. A little bit of Canadian history here. Great Slave Lake. It's the deepest well, it's a turtle shell. There's a man made of copper making man-made wealth. Turtle shell is the deepest well. Man made of copper making man-made wealth. I'll disintegrate like that satellite. It's all cleaned up by morning light, all cleaned up by morning light, all cleaned up by morning light. No Russian radiation in the Great Slave Lake. Yellowknife, dreams of gold. There's a lignite bed burning in my eyes. Houseboat living and I'm working in the mines. Gold's all gone so the diamonds we'll find. Take all the money from the northern light. Shake all the money from the northern lights. Take all the money from the northern light. What was yours? I'm making it mine. I don't give a damn if you think it's a crime. And I'll disintegrate like that satellite. Take all the money from the northern lights. Shake all the money from the northern lights. Taking all the money from the northern lights. In giant mine left a hole. There's a poisonous past in that soil. Enzymes splitting and the skins will boil. What they take will take its toll. There's a million tons of arsenic below the soil. Million tons of arsenic below the soil. There's a million tons of arsenic below the soil. Another one on my forthcoming album I had to dedicate to my little baby boy, my little son Everett. So this is a lullaby for Everett, is what it's called. Off to sleep, rest your pretty head. The rest of us will join you soon in our beds. Quiet eyes and streetlights and all you can pretend. Let the moonlight mend all the trouble in your heart. And we'll sail to a Spanish masquerade, and I'll visit with old friends who have passed away. And you'll be blowing bubbles in the Milky Way till it's daytime again. Oh, you're drifting, your ticket in your hand, mattress down the passages which all the dreamers swam. And every creek in the forest is a shadow on the wall, bend upon the ceiling, passing lights behind them all. But you're in the armor of your blankets, and there is no made-up beast that can break them. You're brave enough to look over the edge till it's daytime again, daytime again, till it's daytime again.
Max Marshall live in the Sun Parlour Coffee House Session studio. great to have you join us.
Oh, it's really my pleasure. Thank you so much for having me.
I have to say, I love watching you play. You seem to have so much fun when you're on stage.
You know what? I really do. It's like therapy, though. It really is. You know, I think like the reciprocal thing about music is, you know, as a performer, you get to heal yourself, and people listen, and the emotion catches on. You know, so
tell us about how you got into music. I have to preface this, and it's a little bit of a teaser, I suppose, for Gear Talk, which is another show you can find on the Sun Parlour Coffee House Sessions website at sunparloursessions.com. And Gear Talk is an opportunity for the artists and people from the sessions to talk about instruments. And we just sat through a great piece you did with John Moran talking about your guitars. A wonderful story came out of that, which is why I wanted to plug this.
Yeah.
But how you were supposed to skate and were supposed to play soccer, and you ended up becoming a musician. So tell us a little bit of how you got started.
That's how folk music kind of works. Like any kid, my mom's like, well, you got to play a sport, you got to learn an instrument, and maybe learn a language, and all this good stuff, you know. And like I said to John, I got into soccer and I scored on my own net, which the kids really didn't appreciate. And I tried to learn how to skate, but I buy these big clunky shoes and I get on the ice, and she signed me up for a figure skating lesson. I'm supposed to be playing a hockey game. It does just, you know what, little did I know that I would have settled on something that I would dedicate my entire livelihood to at age 7, you know.
So you started in music. You're now focusing on fingerstyle,
Yes.
which is a lot more work, I think, for your average singer-songwriter. You know, if you're strumming a guitar, you know, singing your songs,
Yes.
it's a whole lot easier when you see somebody, really working away with a guitar at the same time as singing. Mm-hmm. Why is it that you decided you wanted to get into fingerstyle?
Well, it was listening to Dave Van Ronk and almost hearing that contrapuntal thing that happens where you're hearing someone play and you hear it's like, is that 2 people? Is that 1 person? And, having him totally elevate the genre to me was huge, and it took me years to be able to comfortably get into it. And now I feel like some of this music, some of the stuff that I'll play is almost 100 years old. The Paramount Record stuff, Blind Blake, there's so many of these ragtime guys. This music's almost 100 years old, but it feels new, and people perk up and they listen to it. And I feel like folk music, it's hard enough to get people's attention. I want to go into some style. I want to help preserve something that not many people are doing, and so I feel like I've dedicated my songwriting as a folk musician within the fingerstyle genre, because I think it's a genre of music, or a subgenre, that really, really deserves to be around into the 21st century. So that's kind of my calling with the fingerstyle stuff. Yeah.
So you released your first album,
Yes,
Back Through the Meadows, last year in 2016. Mm-hmm. This year you've got a new album coming.
Yeah.
Tell us a little bit about the new album in relation to what you've done so far.
Well, I think that first recording I did was more of like, okay, I desperately need to have something, and it was a small little thing that I was able to focus on. For this particular new one, I feel like I've been able to use it as a vehicle to really kind of look within myself and really reevaluate my life throughout the writing of the music that's on the new album. I had a baby boy.
But I bet that is a lot of the artistic experience, isn't it? Really, the fact that you have this creative drive within you that needs to be expressed.
That's right.
As far as songwriting is concerned, do you find that something that comes fairly easily to you, or you find you have to spend a lot of time on the songs that you get to a point where you want to record them?
I think I'm kind of constantly just letting things streamline through me, and slowly but surely I'm going to pick something out and that really stands. And it starts with a guitar arrangement. I'm going to invest some time into my arrangement, and I'm going to kind of wait and see what emotion that evokes out of me. And then once I realize exactly what it makes me feel, then all of a sudden I can apply that to my day-to-day life and have it all match up. And one theme that I found that is kind of coming out on the new album is I feel so bogged down by new technology. You know, I'm absolutely addicted to my telephone. I look at it all the time. I'm on it all the time. If I don't have it, I feel anxious. And a lot of the music, a lot of the inspiration for the new album is about me trying to get away from that and try to, you know, almost get away from that whole world, get away from the digital world, because I feel like it's really compromised my spirit, you know. And so I'm using this album to be able to try to escape that.
Does the new album have a name?
I believe it's going to be called Songs from a Little Green House is the working title right now.
You mentioned Dave Van Ronk's name, fabulous singer-songwriter. Mm-hmm. Is he one of your major influences? Who else do you really think of as being people that have shaped your career?
You know, it's so funny. The fingerstyle stuff permeated me so much that I've almost forgotten all of my previous influences. Dave Van Ronk and same with Mississippi John Hurt are two people that are really great to start with as far as that genre is concerned. And now I'm going further and deeper into, as far as the fingerstyle guys, I've kind of reached Blind Blake, who recorded for Paramount. And he, in my opinion, is one of the greatest recorded guitar players of all time. Now, that's just the guitar stuff. As far as lyrics are concerned, I'm really influenced by Dylan Thomas. Dylan Thomas kind of maybe came into my life at a time where words were really able to move me, and he's been able to speak into, like, reading his words has emotionally moved me so much that I use that as my standard almost. Oh my gosh, it sounds like I'm comparing myself to Dylan Thomas. I am absolutely not. But yeah, the writers, you know, I'm inspired by poets. I'm inspired by other people's stories, you know.
It's funny you should say that, because when I hear you sing, Nick Drake keeps coming to mind.
Okay.
You almost have a singing quality that's very like him.
Thank you.
And also in some ways the style. I mean, you create songs, I think, that do make you want to sit with the song and think about it.
Yeah.
And that's certainly something that's come through in the session. You're playing solo for us tonight. Mm-hmm. Do you normally play solo when you're in a live situation?
For this project, yeah. I want to be able to get my fingerstyle guitar to the point where people can listen to it and be satisfied, like they're hearing more than one person. It's a bit of a spectacle. I like how people don't get a chance to hear that style of guitar, and they listen, you know, and so I for this particular thing, and including all of my solo albums, I mean, on this particular new album, I do have a guest joining me. I'm really lucky to have a good friend of mine, Kenneth MacLeod, who's a fantastic fiddle player, Cape Breton fiddle player and
nice.
mandolin player. He joins me for some music, but live, I feel like I owe it to the subgenre to keep it solo. And even my writing in my albums, I want to keep it just me.
It's been great to have you join us here. If people want to learn more about your music, how can they do that?
You can go to maxmarshall.org, O-R-G, and that's essentially where I'm basing all of my info, and that's where you can find my music and get updated about exactly what's going on. I'm on Facebook as well, and you'll be able to find a link on maxmarshall.org.
Well, we have time for one more song in the studio today.
Thanks.
What are you going to play for us?
This is the final song on my new album. It's called Dripping Pearl.
Max Marshall, Dripping Pearl, in the Sun Parlour Coffee House Session Studio. Enjoy. Thanks again.
Thank you. The top of the morning, black as coffee. Well, we've got a long, long way to go. Sleepy bones, turn off your phones. We've got plenty every bend of road. I wanna speak and I wanna listen. I wanna paint you such a blue, gray base to fade away. Dip your hands in cuckoo yellow and raise that sun up to the sky. through my blue cuckoo's tawny eyes. They shine like open palms. Love you, let the ladder bite. Love you, let the ladder bite. The road's a ribbon, the road's a bow, flowing down your grassy gown, over pelvis edge of Lee, driving over belly green, your bosom doves out swollen eyes, and they are beautiful, like the moon in the afternoon. It's a blood orange blue, and it smiles, yes it smiles, it smiles, it smiles.